Alright everyone, welcome to part 3, the final part for Ask the King episode 53. I've actually got my air conditioner on now because I have to have it on. It's too freaking hot in this room. I was sitting here sweating like a pig. And so the air conditioner will be on for this final part. If you haven't watched the first 2 parts yet, they are live on YouTube already on the King of Hate vlog, so check those out. But this is the 3rd and final part for July 2nd, 2015, so let's get right into the questions, okay? Alright, so there was this person named Sin the Kid who asked several questions, most of which are very quick ones, so I picked 3 out of his 5 questions to answer. The first one, would you ever consider having music in your videos during stream and such? If so, what kind of music would you listen to? The answer to this, quite simply, is no. And the reasoning is because, number one, because if you have music during the stream, it can be distracting, right? If you're playing a game during a stream, and now you got other music over the game, now you're definitely kind of taking away from the gameplay experience. But also, just music in general can get copyright flagged on YouTube. And I've actually had games in particular, like when I was playing NBA 2K like 2 years ago, a song got flagged, and that video had to be taken down because it was muted. It was completely muted. There was no music during the entire thing, and it was a ridiculous pain in the ass to do that. And it's like, it's nice if you're playing offline, you're playing by yourself, maybe you want to change the music, you like the music of the game, you want to play a cool song, your favorite song or whatever. It's certainly not the risk for me when I'm recording stuff or streaming stuff for work to take that kind of a risk. So the answer is no. I probably wouldn't put some kind of a third-party music in there just because it could throw everything off, okay? The next question, what do you use to record games on your computer? I have OBS, but it doesn't run well with most games for me despite having a decent RAM, a decent processor, and all that. Yeah, you're right. Unfortunately, OBS can be a resource hog, but that is really, in my experience, the best thing to capture PC games. That's what I use, but also that's the reason why I really don't play games on PC, is because I need to have OBS dedicated to capturing and have something else running the game, and that's why if you see more often than not, I play games on console, not on PC. So the few exceptions, there might be like a Telltale game, episodic game that really isn't that resource intensive, then my PC can handle capturing and playing it together. Alright, the final question, for this person, not the final question of the show. After playing Pokemon last year, would you ever consider playing more when the next titles are released? Also, would you ever bother checking it out onto stuff you don't know online, such as Pokemon type advantages and resistances, or Pokemon stats? Yeah, I would say, I liked playing Pokemon late last year. Now, the thing is, the Pokemon game that I played wasn't really a new game. It was a re-release of an older game, so it wasn't like brand new spanking gameplay or anything from DSP. If people had played the game already, they already knew what to expect in that playthrough. If there's a brand new installment in the Pokemon franchise coming out in the future, yes, I would absolutely consider playing it, especially since I now have the cord doesn't reach, so I can't show you. But I have my 3DS, here it is, my 3DS capture. There's the capture cable, and then there's the power cable. The power cable is too short, so I couldn't pull it out to show you. But yeah, I could do it if it is on 3DS, or if it's on Wii U, I would consider doing it. I like Pokemon, I would consider doing a playthrough of a new Pokemon game. Okay, next question is from Fishman11. He says, hey Phil, I've been watching you for about 4 years now, and I have a question. Will you be bringing back cooperative Saturdays now that you can play with Leanna? Thanks. Funny you should mention that, Fishman, okay? For those who don't know, maybe you've only been watching my content for a year now and you don't know, but I used to do cooperative gameplay with my friend John Rambo when I lived in Connecticut over a year ago, and typically we would do it every weekend around a Saturday. And it went on for quite some time, and it was a fun experience when we could do it, and we did a lot of full playthroughs of games together that were a lot of fun. But that era is over. I moved across the country, it's not viable to do it anymore, and so really I haven't done much, if any, cooperative gameplay whatsoever this past year because I moved. The good news is, I've decided that yes, we're going to start doing some co-op. Now, it's not going to be frequently all the time, but every once in a while, if Leanna, my girlfriend, and I decide that we have a game that we want to play together, we're going to do. The next game we're playing cooperatively starts tomorrow, Friday, July 3rd. We're going to be starting Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham. We're going to be doing that for around 3 hours. And then once a week after that, on Saturday, we're going to be playing that until we beat it. There is potential we will play other Lego games in the future, or other cooperative games that look like something we would enjoy. For example, Yoshi's Woolly World is a cool, cutesy kind of platformer that I wanted to play. Leanna saw it, says, I'd like to play it too. And then guess what? We found out that the game came out worldwide on June 26th, but doesn't come out in the United States until October. It's not that the game's not ready, you know, because it already came out worldwide in English. It's because they have to make more fucking amiibos. Yes, Nintendo is refusing to release Yoshi's Woolly World in the United States because they want to make more fucking amiibos to tie in with the game, and they're not ready to sell yet, so they're refusing to sell the fucking game here. So, I'm sorry, but I can only put up with this shit for so long. You want to buy amiibos, that's fine, but when you delay the release of games in my fucking country to sell your fucking amiibos, you can suck my fucking balls. And that's bullshit, because we really wanted to play this game, and now if we play it, we're going to be playing it in October, months after everyone else already played it, and probably the playthrough won't get any attention. But we are looking in the future for other cooperative games as well, and if we find ones we want to play, we will be doing it roughly once a week, okay? Okay, next question is from Industrial Gamer, and he asks, hey Phil, do you think that you'll have time to replay Mirror's Edge before the new one comes out? I think that an updated playthrough of the game done now in direct capture in HD for the first time would be awesome. I actually agree, and here's why I agree on this one. Mirror's Edge was one of those games. I'm going to turn off the air conditioner now for a little bit. It distracts me. Even though you guys can't hear it that much, it does distract me when I'm trying to talk. Mirror's Edge was one of those games that I actually started at my very beginning of my YouTube career. It was like, I think it was 2009 when I actually played it. I think that it could have been 2008, but I think it was 2009. And I really enjoyed the game, but the game had bugs that kind of pissed me off. And I'll be honest, the playthrough didn't look very good. And I told everyone, I apologize. I wish my playthrough of this game looked better, but at that time I was not doing direct capture. I was using a camera that didn't have good brightness adjustments, and it kept going too dark or too bright during the game. It didn't look good. And let's be honest, I haven't played that game since then. So we're talking a game I haven't played in some 6 years. Maybe this is the time, come say late this year or early next year, because the new Mirror's Edge is supposed to come out in February 2016. Maybe I could do a quick replay through, because the game's short too. Maybe I could replay through the game and do another one with direct capture. I think that would be a great idea. I'm going to try to keep that one in the back of my head, so early next year I may do it before the release of the new Mirror's Edge game. Okay. Let's see here. Next question is from Master of Awesomeness, and he asks, Phil, what is your feeling and opinion on the rise of walking simulators, or people call them walking simulators, like Dear Esther, Gone Home, and Sunset? Okay. Do you feel that it's a good idea or a bad idea for developers like the Fulbright Company to make games with no gameplay due to the fact that the objective of the game is to walk around an environment in order to explore the story? So we talked about this a couple years ago. It was actually late 2013 when I played the game Gone Home, which quite honestly didn't have a lot of gameplay. It was more about just walking around, reading journals, articles, logs. Every once in a while, there'd be a very basic puzzle you had to solve to go to the next area, but really there was no danger. It was just you exploring an empty house, and that was the whole game. There have been other games since then that are kind of like that. He names it Dear Esther, Sunset. It's really just you exploring the narrative of a game. There's no risk. There's not like there's going to be a chance of any deaths or anything. There's no monsters or anything in the game. And it's really just you exploring a story. I think that kind of story, or excuse me, I think that kind of game has a place. I think that kind of game, absolutely, all right, has a place. But people need to know that up front. And the reason I say that, I think the reason that so many people had an issue with Gone Home is because you're playing the game and there's always a hint of a supernatural twist. There's going to be a monster coming after you. There's going to be something happening. And at the end of the game, it never happens. And you're like, well, that's deflating because, you know, the whole game you thought something was going to happen and didn't. If people know that you're playing a narrative-based game, you're only playing this game to walk around and uncover a story, I think that's fine. But when you maybe advertise it or it's a bait and switch, you shouldn't. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of one of the things that that has to be said up front. This is a narrative-based game. You're going to be walking around doing a lot of talking, doing a lot of reading, and that's really what the course of the game is, rather than trying to push it out as like survival horror or something else that it's not, okay? I don't see anything wrong with it. In fact, I really liked Gone Home, okay? It's an interactive story, right? Versus you just sitting there reading a book. It's an interactive story, and I think it has a place, and I think there's a certain customer base and a certain gamer that will like that kind of story, and I also think there's a certain gamer that will absolutely detest it and say, that's not a game, and blah, but that's fine. They don't have to play that game. They just stay away from it. You know what I mean? Okay. This next question, I honestly don't know if I understood it properly, so I'm going to read it, and I'm going to try to respond. This one is from Womel, okay? And he says the following. Phil, I was wondering, why do the Patreon goals involve just playing games and a camera? For instance, the gaming historian has a Patreon, and his goals include getting textbooks and other game history information to make a wider range of videos. Critical, while not having any goals, donates to charity, so his fans probably become patrons for that. Will there be other goals that could improve your videos? Thanks for taking the time to read this. So, from what I'm understanding, this person's seen other people's Patreons, and they're saying, why are your goals different from theirs? All right. Well, it's very simple. The first person, I don't know anything about the gaming historian. Never heard of him. The first time I ever even heard the name. Okay. It sounds to me like they're a person who makes a series of videos based off the history of games, and it's, like you said, they're trying to get textbooks and other game history information to make better videos. Great. I play games that come out. I do live playthroughs and streams of them, and then I review them after the fact. So, how exactly could I improve my content now that I have a good capture device? I have 60 frames per second streaming capability. What could I possibly do to improve that? And the answer, I don't think, is anything. Quite honestly, I don't think that I could really go any crazier to make my playthroughs any better or to make my reviews any better. I think that those have reached the level of what they are. Now, what I can do is I can expand. And you say you made the camera. The camera that I'm looking to get is for better quality for those reviews, but also for me to do other things outside of just playing games. If I could get a great camera, I could do Project 7 Reboot and it would look amazing. The green screen videos that I've dabbled with a little bit would look way better, but I need a better camera to do it. That's why the camera is on there, okay? If I'm known for gaming, then obviously gaming is going to be my goal. I'm the game historian. I'm making videos about game history. So that's what your goals are. I'm a gamer, so I'm going to have goals about gaming, like play a Crash Bandicoot marathon, right? Or do a new Downtime series. That's kind of what my goals are. They're based off of what I do on YouTube. So even though the Patreon account of the gaming historian is different than mine, it's actually kind of the same when you really think of it like that, okay? Now, the other half, Critical. I don't know who the hell that is. Never heard of him again. But you're saying that he doesn't have any goals, but people donate to him because he donates to charity. Listen, if that is the case, great. Good for him. I donate to charity, but I don't make it public. I talked about this a year ago, and I got a ton of shit for it. I don't make charity public. Charity is supposed to be something that you do of your own free will for the good of something, but I don't believe that it should be something that's touted. If I were to make a big donation to a charity, I shouldn't come out and say, oh, I just made a big donation to this charity, so kiss my ass for it. In fact, the flip, I would not want any attention for doing anything for charity. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want people to say, oh, Phil's a good guy because he donated to charity, so I'm going to support him. No, I want to earn your respect and your support through the content that I put out, not because I did a charitable act. You know what I mean? So I know nothing about Critical. I don't know anything about any charity he donates to or if he makes it public, and that's why people support him. I would never want someone to say, I'm going to donate to Phil because he donates to charity. I would want to say, I like his videos, I like his content, I like him as a person, I support his philosophy, you know, that we've already talked about the King of Hate moniker and what that means, and then you support me, that's one thing. But not because I donate to charity. That's kind of silly. And so I hope that wouldn't be why people do support this guy, but hey, you know, people do things for different reasons. Okay. Alright, so we got one final forum question, and then we're going to move on to the Twitter and Facebook questions and end the show, alright? So the final forum question from The Great One. He says, hey Phil, what are your thoughts on Twitch streamers who purposely use their boobs, fake crying, and otherwise other kind of underhanded means as a way to hook their audience and make loads of money via donations and subscriptions? Streamers who try to troll their audience, like Casey Tron and Brittany Venti, do you think that the way that they fool their viewers is acceptable? Now, I'm not going to take the bait here. I know nothing about Casey Tron or Brittany Venti. I don't know nothing about them. I've never seen them. I don't know jack shit. I don't know anything about their practices. I'll tell you this. Tons of women worldwide forever have used their looks, their tits, and the sexual desires of men as a way to get ahead in the world, alright? And I fully knew when I heard, oh, live streaming, really? Here they come. Oh, we're gamers. Yeah, right. These girls come out with giant tits. They suck at the games they're playing. They don't even know what the fuck they're doing, but because they got their tits out on camera, right? It's time, and then they get hundreds or thousands of viewers, people tossing the money. It's basically virtual whorage. It's what it is, virtual whorage. You're whoring yourself out for money. You're not doing anything of any quality. You know, all you're doing is trying to be a virtual whore. And it's safe now, right? Now you can do it safe. You don't have to do it in person anymore because now we got the internet. So you can be you don't have to be nude. Just have your tits hanging out as you pretend to be good at some fucking Hearthstone or whatever it is. And people will throw you money because they're fucking losers. They're pathetic. Anyone who would fucking subscribe or toss a donation towards a woman just because she has her tits out is a fucking loser. There's so many women on the planet. Did you know there are more women than men? Statistically, if you are a man, you should be able to get a woman. She may not be the big supermodel you're dreaming of, but eventually in your life, you'll probably be able to get a fucking woman. So for you to throw money at some girl who has her tits hanging out on, oh, look at my titties, on stream, you're a fucking idiot. You could literally go do anything else with the money. It would be more productive than giving it to that moron, but you're so stupid, you're giving them money for nothing. Really dumb, all right? So anyway, as a result of this question, I've decided that from now on, I will be doing my streams topless. So hold on, let me get my shirt off here. No, I'm not going to do that because you would all flee in terror at the disgustingness that is my body. But it's ridiculous. It absolutely is ridiculous. And yeah, I agree that if people are doing this, which I'm sure there are, right? Then it is stupid. I actually wouldn't even go as far to blame the women who are doing it. I blame the idiotic dudes who pay money to watch that stupid shit. You're a fucking idiot. There's free porn on the internet, dipshit. Stop sending money to the girl who doesn't show you nude shit on Twitch and go fucking get a porn site and actually get your fucking rocks off and stop being a loser. Okay. That's my true feelings. Okay. All right. Finally, Twitter and Facebook questions. First question off of Twitter from the Kid KJ. He says, I was wondering, other than family and friends, what else do you miss about Connecticut? I've already answered this question in the past, but I'll answer it again because it is a 1-year anniversary now of me moving from Connecticut to Washington. Definitely the food, man. The food, the Italian food. There is no legit Italian food out here. In addition, there's really no independent food places that are very good. In Connecticut, I could go to a diner and get good food. I could go to a local place, like there was the Tomlinson's fast food place, or Duchess, which was a local chain to Connecticut that had really good food, not just burgers, but we're talking deli sandwiches and that kind of stuff. Italian restaurants, like I said, none of them out here, right? I miss the food by far. I grew up with that food, and now I'm away from it from a year. I do miss it. If I do go back to the East Coast, the one thing I'm going to do is fucking chow down on East Coast food that I can't get out here, all right? I do miss my zoo. I had a local zoo called Bearsley Zoo in Connecticut that I frequented, and I went there at least once a year, and I haven't been to it now, and I am sad because I miss it. It's been a year now. They had this cool display of certain animals that I like to see every year, and that's something that I miss. And again, if I return to the East Coast, that's something that I may do as well. And that's pretty much it, because the weather's better out here, the prices are better out here, the taxes are better out here, everything's better out here. I don't even know what else to say. It's better. There's no reason to live back where I was, besides, like you said, family and friends. Okay. Up next, from My Name is Zwei, what is the best advice you could give to someone who's attempting to break into the competitive fighting game scene? I've already said this before, but I will say it, two critical pieces of advice that I can give you. Number one, to be a winner, you must learn to be a good loser. And you know, when I play games, I joke and I'm playing and I rage and I get angry at the game or whatever. But in general, if you're going to be a tournament level competitor, you must learn to lose before you can win. You will play and you will lose. You will lose, you will lose, you will lose. But eventually, as you play more, you will learn strategies, you will learn things about the game that will make you better. But if you get so fucking frustrated every time you lose, you get angry or you get depressed, whatever your emotional response is, that it makes you not want to play anymore, you're never going to win. You have to be a good loser before you can be a good winner. All right? And the second piece of advice, play as many fucking people as possible. And what I mean by that, you can play people local to you, in your local neighborhood, in your local state online, go to tournaments, go to get-togethers, go to gatherings, go to places where people play the games you want to play and play the shit and play as many people as possible. Play the shit out of the game, play as many people as possible, because where you're going to get your high-level tournament strategies are the things that work against everyone. And the more exposure you get against the most amount of gameplay and strategies is going to make you a better player overall. You cannot just sit and play the same 10 people forever and then go to a tournament and expect to win. You will get beaten. There you go. All right, next question is from the Ariad Lord. Yes, from Chris, my longtime friend. and a longtime cooperative buddy in gaming and stuff like that. And he says, hey, Phil, do you think that the era of DSP musical remixes will ever return? You know, it's funny because people always talk about this epic golden era of DSP, the year that was 2010, the best year of DSP and music remixes. I don't necessarily think that 2010 was the best year of my content at all. What I think is that it was the perfect storm where YouTube had hit the epitome of its popularity for gaming. People were into people playing games on YouTube. People loved my content because I played every major game on YouTube, and I wasn't doing it for money yet, so no one was accusing me for being a sellout. There was a big fan movement for all the stuff I did on YouTube. People would watch my playthroughs and like them so much, people would do musical remixes off of things I said in my playthroughs. But it was very short-lived. People might not realize this. By like 2011, it had all died out. Like, it was only about maybe a year where people were into doing that, and then it just kind of went away. I don't know if it'll ever come back. I love musical remixes. I love that stuff, and I would absolutely love to talk about it and show it, but, you know, it kind of died out at one point. Not to say that I don't sing a lot, that's for sure. I certainly sing a lot in my playthroughs, you know what I mean? And, you know, we'll see. We will see what happens in the future, but it may be an era that comes back, but it was a very short-lived one to begin with. Okay. Next question is from WWE fan Scott. He says, why don't you do collaborations with other YouTubers? Wow, if I answered this one a million times before, what would I collab on? You know what I mean? I actually, right now, might actually have a collaboration in the works, but it will be something that probably won't be a big deal. And outside of that, what would I collab on? You know what I mean? Most YouTubers have their own thing. They have their own group of people that they work with. They have their own friends. It's not like it was me and 5 other people all decided to break out on YouTube together and we have our own channels, but then we do our own, you know what I mean? The one person who I ever really collaborated with all the time was John Rambo, and he went off and kind of did his own thing. He didn't want to do gaming on his own channel, even though he did a little bit of it. He wanted to do other stuff. So it's like, you know what I mean? The era of collaboration never really happened for me. Some people, oh, well, there's a bunch of gaming YouTubers. Let me see if they want to do something. It wasn't like that when I started. It was like maybe 10, 12 people who were making money doing this on YouTube, and I was one of them, and I just kind of did my own thing for years and years and years. So, I don't know. Whoever might want to do a collaboration, you know, you can always contact me and we'll see if we can make it happen. But for the most part, gaming, what are you going to do to collaborate? You know what I mean? Okay. Next question from Dan the Man 0531. He says, where'd you get your old coffee table in Connecticut that used to flip up and open? What an old question. No one's even seen the thing for years, but I got that at Bob's Discount Furniture. That's a local chain in the East Coast of the United States. So there you go. Next question from Big Greenhead YT. Would you consider doing extremely long gaming marathons, like 18 plus hours? It would be awesome. The only time I would ever do a marathon like that, I'll be honest with you guys, is if it were for charity. If it were 100% a charity drive and me doing something for that length of time could get more people to donate. However, I don't actually think that I would be able to do it like super extended. I have a back injury, and even though it's been feeling a lot better recently, when I take these breaks when I'm streaming or whatever, it's because I need to get up off this freaking love seat and go walk around the house, because if I don't, my back will start to hurt. And so you're talking me sit here for 24 hours playing a game? No. My voice will probably wear out. I'll probably get tired. Yesterday I did a Crash Bandicoot marathon, which was around 6.5. I think it was just over 6.5 hours of gameplay. The stream was over 7 hours that I did, including the pre-stream and all that. I was done. By the time I'd beaten Crash Bandicoot yesterday, I was like, my mind, I was physically wiped. I was mentally wiped. I was like, I'm done. You know what I mean? I'm absolutely fucking done. And I couldn't play anymore. I was like, I can't even go on. I'm just done. I don't know if I could go. It would have to, if I was going to do that, it would have to be games that aren't like insanely challenging. Maybe it's like more casual, fun games that you could play at length and it doesn't gruel at you with crazy difficulty or anything like that. But yeah, my marathon streams that I would do for like Patreon will be around like day-long events, like 7-8 hours, you know, at the tops. But no, if anything to go super long, it would have to be charity, and it would have to be like a marathon or something that I could stand. But even then, I have to take frequent breaks because of my back. Okay. All right. Jared asks, do you think that VR for next-gen consoles will last in the long term? No. No. I think it's a gimmick, because let's face it, if you're going to wear a VR headset, right? Oh, you know, virtual reality. That shit is going to start to hurt your head within an hour, tops. Playing a game for an hour with a fucking screen in front of your eyes, and you have a virtual reality headset. It's not going to be for extended play sessions, which is where games are going, right? The more games we play now, we're talking 20, 30-hour experiences. Can you imagine sitting here for 30 hours with a fucking thing on your head? Virtual reality. I think it's a gimmick. Even though I've never played it, I almost guarantee you I probably wouldn't be blown away by it. And I do think it's still a gimmick like everything else, and it's not going to be long-term at all. I think that eventually, much like some of these things that are gaming gimmicks for a while, it may be popular for something else. Maybe we could use it VR for education. Maybe we could use it for medical applications, right? For surgeries and stuff. But I don't see it for gaming. I just don't. I could be completely wrong, but I don't see it. Next question from Aaron. Have you ever thought about growing a full beard? Now that you live in Seattle area, you'd fit right in with the hipsters. At one time, my entire face had a beard. This only happened once in my life. It actually happened following my being laid off from my job in 2010. I said I want to grow a full face beard and see what it feels like. After doing it for a couple weeks, I couldn't fucking stand it anymore. My face itched. It was very itchy. I was like, oh man, like I couldn't take it. Now maybe there's a way around that. Maybe it's because my skin is sensitive, but it bothered me. You know, and this right here isn't enough to bother me. But even when I had like, you know, longer beards and stuff, and I don't shave for say a week, it bothers me. It itches my face, and I'm like, you know, damn it, I gotta shave. So I would probably never grow a full beard. And I'll be honest, hipster beards look fucking disgusting. They look like unkept, nasty shit that a fucking squirrel's gonna jump out of. And they probably smell like wet socks. So no, I would never have a fucking full beard like a hipster. Next question is from Daniel. Any possibility of you returning to the competitive fighting game community with Street Fighter V coming out soon? When Street Fighter 4 came out, you actually did get into it until about 2011, and then you never attended a tournament again. There's always a possibility. I will tell you this. There's a strong possibility that if the game is good to the point that I like it, I will play it at least at a competitive level for a short period of time. I'm hearing things about the game saying that it actually plays like Super Turbo. If the game plays like Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, you may fucking see me winning tournaments. Because I love Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I love that hardcore style of gameplay. That's my style of fucking game. I've wanted it since Street Fighter 4 was released. You know that I'm good at that game, and I will fucking play the shit out of it if it plays like that. But let's see what happens. Alright? Let's not get our eggs fucking all in the same basket and count your gooses before they shit or whatever the hell the expression is. Let's see what happens with the game. Let's be calm. There's a demo. Supposedly the beta is coming out in, say, 3 weeks. 3 weeks. And I actually have to pre-order the game. I'm going to pre-order it on PSN to play in this beta. I'll judge for myself. I'll be calm. I'll be relaxed. I'm not going to jump the gun. I want to see what the game's going to be like. But definitely, I'm excited for it. But let's see. If it plays like Super Turbo, I'll be fucking ecstatic. And we'll see what happens and we'll go from there. The last question for this month. Sophia asks, will you be playing any other Silent Hill games in the future? Well, Sophia, it's a good question. I love playing Silent Hill games. If you haven't noticed, I'm going to take my hat off now because, it's like I said, it's hot in here. It's bothering me. Look at my hair. I like Silent Hill games. I've now played the first 4, right? The first 4 Silent Hills. And I also played Downpour, which was the one that came out a few years ago. There's many others. There's, what is it? Homecoming. There's like 3 other ones on mainstream consoles that I never played. I think there was like 1 or 2 that were also on portable consoles. And I'm very excited to try them out, but I've heard terrible things about them. People are like, oh, don't play those, Phil. Those games are inferior to the other ones. They're terrible. So I don't know. I'm kind of like, I would love to play them, just to say I've played all the Silent Hills. At the same time, since I've heard bad things about them, I'm a little reluctant. You know what I mean? So I guess we'll see what happens. But I am excited. I am interested in trying them out at least. I was really excited for Silent Hills. And we all know what happened to that. But I'd be interested in playing them if people could recommend ones, right? Besides, I know Homecoming is one. If people could recommend other ones that I should try out, eventually I would definitely consider playing them because I do like the series a lot, okay? All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching this episode of Ask the King, episode 53, for July 2nd, 2015. Remember, the next episode, July 30th, 2015, as long as nothing goes wrong, but I'm not foreseeing that. I think we should be good for that. Please post up your questions on thekingofhate.com. Thank you for watching. That is it. I got to rest my voice because it's killing me. Peace out, everyone, and I'll see you next time.